Tonight's party panel is Nomiki Konst. She is a Democratic strategist and former DNC council member. Comedian Joe DeVIto is here tonight, and also weighing in, it's Andy Levy, the co-host of Red Eye on the Fox News channel. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Still trying to make sense of what happened in Orlando, but I think the president doesn't get it when he devotes so much of his speech to attacking Republicans, being defensive about not using the phrase radical Islam. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, but it's the easy way out, and it's the tack he's been taking for a long time now. It's much easier to attack Republicans than it is to attack the source of the actual problem.
Yeah.
And that's what he does, and it's the people who say, oh, it's a political thing, it's taking the easy way out. That's exactly what he's doing. He's doing exactly what he's blaming the Republicans for doing.
Yeah, no, but it's this term that he's so defensive about, and it's like, if it's not a big deal, if it doesn't change your strategy, then just use it.
Well, that's the thing. If he keeps saying, oh, it's just semantics. Well, if it's just semantics, then call a thing by what its name is.
Yeah.
And it is radical Islam. It's not Islam, it's radical Islam. There's a difference between the two. Saying radical Islam doesn't demonize every Muslim.
Naomi, I found the speech to be very defensive unnecessarily. I found it to be apologist for this country and, you know, blaming people in this country as opposed to naming who the real enemy is. I felt like it was a lecture, and I think he missed an important opportunity to bring perspective, context, and comfort to the country.
I think that President Obama has been sucked into the campaign cycle, and he really should, and I believe this is a progressive, I believe this is a Democrat, I believe this is somebody who believes in strong national security.
Yeah.
He needs to distance himself from the political debates. I mean, I do agree with you. I think that he played into Republicans' tactics. They want him to react. Yeah. But one thing he did say in the speech that I have to disagree with was he said by calling it radical Islam, that is exactly what they are trying, ISIS. That's what they want. That's what feeds the extremism. I mean, they use that as a tool to come back and recruit when they see that the entire country is essentially demonizing part of religion, sects of the religion. That's how they're going to spin it. And, you know, a lot of people from the CIA to FBI, anybody who's been overseas, understands that their narrative is very much that America hates Islam. And so when we do things like that, that feeds into their recruitment.
I think that's stupid. I think that's, I don't think, I do. I don't think that you should anticipate their reaction and their feelings. I think that, you know, if you're going to have resolve and a strategy, then that's what should be in the forefront of your mind, not, oh my gosh, how are these people going to react to it? Because I feel like that's so much of his presidency. Now, Joe, I want to bring you in because when he talks about, like, you know, that term, that phrase, it's really not that important. It doesn't define us. It's like a guy who's hesitant to say the words, I love you.
Yeah, it's almost like Harry Potter, where it can't be named. Oh, we can't say it. And he's absolutely wrong. When you identify a problem, you give it the name. Look, ISIS. The first I stands for Islamic. They know who they are. Yeah. And if we're going to act like, oh, but we're not exactly sure, I think this is the best way to separate them from the average Muslim who is they're the first to suffer at the hands of the radicals.
You are absolutely right about that because you qualify. You qualify it by saying it's radical Islam.
It's the bad interpretation of it.
But he's the one who puts the entire religion under one umbrella, which is actually more offensive, and he's doing more harm to a system that he deeply understands.
Also, if you don't want to play into ISIS's hands, I don't know, maybe stop drone killing wedding parties.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, I think that might have a better shot at not playing into their hands than calling them radical Islam, which is what they are.
You could make the argument that his non-strategy is creating more terrorists than it kills.
I think another problem with this is that they don't extend this courtesy to other groups. That as soon as something like this happens, it's like, oh, it must be angry white man. It must be Republican.
That's what David Axelrod did after the Boston Marathon bombing. They're like, oh, it's Patriots Day.
Yeah, and they have no reason to think that, yet we're trying to say, like, of course it's not all Muslims, and this is a good way to show that, yes, we don't mean it's all Muslims.
All right, well, continuing with his press conference, the president also joined Hillary Clinton in calling for stricter gun control.
Stop making it easy as possible for terrorists to buy assault weapons. Reinstate the assault weapons ban. Make it harder for terrorists to use these weapons to kill us.
Yeah, will more regulations make us safe or just slow down lawful citizens? So is he really naive enough to say that this guy was a terrorist before that attack?
Meaning that President Obama doesn't think he is a terrorist before the attack, or after?
No, was he a terrorist before he committed this crime?
Well, he was being watched and investigated by the FBI.
Then the FBI failed. That's part of the president's administration. Therefore, it's the president's failure.
No, I don't think so at all. I think that
Absolutely.
the FBI
I mean, if you're saying that if he was a terrorist...
Hang on a second, hang on. Let's back this up for a second. So, first thing, he wasn't a terrorist before. He was being watched and monitored. That's one thing.
Then the president's statement doesn't make any sense. Because if he wasn't a terrorist when he bought the gun... When is he a terrorist?
He was being investigated by the FBI. He was on the no-fly list. So he was being questioned.
So everyone on the no-fly list is a terrorist? William Bennett. Is William Bennett a terrorist?
But the no-fly list has been cleaned up a lot in the last 15 years. I know you're laughing about this, but I've delved into this in a very detailed way. 91% of these people on the no-fly list that have tried to get guns have gotten guns. Now, all you have to do is wait 4 more days.
So do you
That's
think,
the problem.
okay, go ahead.
Well, first of all, the no-fly list is not the terrorist watch list. Let's stop pretending it is, which is what the politicians from President Obama to future President Clinton are doing.
They're conflating the two things.
And
Absolutely.
I am getting, honestly, really tired of people on the left lecturing.
I'm sorry, it's Representative King's bill. He's a Republican.
Let him finish.
I am getting really tired of people on the left, including President Obama and future President Clinton, lecturing us and getting angry about the mindset of Republicans, while at the same time they want to take away rights from Americans just because the government put their name on a list.
Yeah.
That is
without
wrong.
due
You
process.
want to talk about things that ISIS probably wants us to do? Destroying our Constitution is probably high on the list of them, and that's exactly
And you know
what
what
this
else they
does.
want us to do? They want us to disarm the citizenry.
Yeah, well, the thing with these lists is that no one really knows how you get on one, and it's very hard. You can't appeal it to get off.
Well, now
That's
you
absolutely
can. Now you can. This has changed in the past 5 years. You know, initially that was the case, but there has been so much scrubbing of this list and
That's
cleaning
actually
up.
not true.
There's people end up on this list because someone spelled their name wrong or got their middle initial wrong. So
or
again,
they have the same name as someone who...
as someone else.
And by the way, who is more likely to be put on this list by mistake, John Smith or Muhammad Akbar?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to talk about something that's going to disproportionately hurt innocent Muslim Americans, this is it.
That's a great point, and that's where we're going to end this segment.